Hey YouTube, welcome back. We just finished pushing up to 511 waves in hardcore solo, which means that overall we are currently the rank 1 person across all of hardcore solo. We didn't die, we just left because I kind of got bored, but this build is absolutely cracked, so I wanted to give you a quick rundown of it. If you haven't seen the full version of this build, I recommend you pop over to a different video on YouTube. It must have been posted 1 or 2 videos before this. It's talking about the numlock Spriggan trick and the quote-unquote completely normal spell EQ build. So for this tournament, this was the Shaman tournament. It's the weekend tournament. Hardcore and softcore both happened at the same time. The 3 required skills were Spriggan form, avalanche, and upheaval. And because I just recently played this, and because it's already been confirmed to be nerfed, so we're currently in patch 0.84, in patch 0.85, the Culnivar is going to be nerfed in some way that this interaction no longer works, which is good because it's absolutely busted. The reason that I chose to play this build again is, first of all, Shaman is a wreck, and all the builds and all the interactions and the masteries and the skills are all nonsense, which means they're not very good. They're just like, it's a really underpowered old mastery in last Epoch. So I just wanted to play something that I knew that I could have fun with. From a educational and testing perspective, the reason I chose this build is I know Culnivar is going to be nerfed, and I know Culnivar's is totally busted when you make use of the passive bonus once you become the Druid mastery, which is when you leave a transformed state, you get 70% damage reduction for 2 seconds, which is insane. So I wanted to play the Shaman version of the build, which is almost literally strictly worse in every single way. And then I wanted to see how well it did. So we just became the rank 1 person across all of hardcore solo with 511 waves. The Druid version of this build is quite literally the build that I just played to rank 1 plus 70% damage reduction plus crit multi. It's just it's just better in every single way. So we're not going to talk too much about the gear and the skills because you should already know what those are from the other video. You can always check that if you want to see what's going on. So I'm just going to give a quick rundown of the gear so you can see what we did over a 3.5 day time span. So we've got about 1600 life because we don't have much life on our gear. We have a lot of armor and strength though. So for the helmet, we have a sealed +1 modifier, which is very easy to do. It's deterministic. So we have a sealed +1 modifier, and then strength, cooldown, recovery speed, armor, because armor gives us ward, gives us everything because of this build. For our Culnivars, we have a pretty well rolled one. I found 3 of these overall. We didn't get anything with LP, unfortunately, even though I kind of tried with my blessings. My amulet is a embarrassment. It is not good at all. It doesn't have any damage on it. It doesn't have any crit multi on it. I wish that the exalted modifier was a spell crit instead of having exalted normal crit, because spell crit rolls higher and is better overall. So this is what it is, but it's fine. For our shield, we never found a Bastion of Honor, but we ended up not needing it. So we have 51 block chance on my sheet over here with only 950 effect, and then some nonsense suffixes that don't matter at all. For our chest piece, we have a sealed attunement, nothing particularly strong there. Vitality and strength are my 2 prefixes. I would like to have the flat shared armor prefix, but we didn't end up getting it. And then a big chunk of life and some tier 5 flat armor at the suffix. I've got 1600 armor or 1600 life here. If I take this off, I go down to 1200 life. So just to give you an idea of what my life total looks like with and without this 1 exalted health modifier and a tiny bit of vitality as well. For my rings, they're insane. One of my rings is a 3 LP ribbons of blood with a 10% increased maximum life roll. If I take this off, I go down about 110 life is what that 10% increased maximum life is giving me. So we have lightning damage because most of our damage is lightning spell EQ. And then we have crit avoid and cold resistance. And the crit avoid along with the Spriggan pet puts us at 105 right here. So this is the only other thing we have. The bell is Isidora's Tomes Binding. This thing has flat armor, percent armor, an armor prefix, and cast speed on it, which means it's quite literally perfect for us. You could get like a quadruple LP something, but realistically this thing is very, very good for what it is. While I was mapping, I was using a different ring instead of this Pharaoh's here, so let's talk about this ring first. We have mana regen, spell damage, and then some endurance and fizz, and this would put me at 58 endurance here, and then 12 mana regeneration, which goes up to 14 when I push down another totem here. So that 14 mana regen felt good for general mapping purposes, but This, if you watch my armor, goes from 5,400 armor to 6,200 armor, because we have a nice armor roll on this. And you can also see my ward retention drops from 271 to 208 if I put on a normal ring. So there's a couple of differences between these two rings, and we ended up using the Fairboars for our push. For the gloves, we have Frostbite Shackles because they're insane. We need some kind of ward retention, and this is the best single way to get ward retention. The boots have a bunch of armor on them. They have a tiny bit of life as well. Strength, poison res, stuff. You can take a look at this if you need to. The last thing to talk about here, I guess other than idols, last piece of gear to talk about is the relic. The relic is embarrassingly bad. It only has one prefix. It has normal crit chance instead of spell crit chance. And then the suffixes are good. So the suffixes are the frailty and the cold res, and it's on a cold res base. This could be better in every single way, but it's the best that I got. So it is what it is. Last thing to talk about are the idols up here. We have some very, very good idols. We have Aspect of the Boar effect, Aspect of the Boar effect on these two. We have some damage and a 10% chance to summon a Thorn Totem on hit, which is how we are taking advantage of these Shaman nodes down here. Mana regen, armor, and cast speed for all those nodes. And then let's see, we have 9 plus 9 plus 4 for our 3 sources of mana gained when transforming back to human form. A little bit of Fizz Res, a little bit of Void Res, and last but not least, the Throne of Ambition, which makes us super tanky whenever a rare monster shows up. So this is what we ended with. Just wanted to recap this. Thought it was notable, even though we've done like a build tech for this build before. The fact that we are playing a bad version of it on Shaman, and we just hit rank 1. We could play a Druid version of it. It would be the exact same build, except it would also have 70% damage reduction, and it would also have the Primal Shifter and the Tiger Spirit nodes, which are insane. So I guess I'm glad this thing is going to get nerfed. We're currently in patch 084. In patch 085, this is going to be changed in some way so that this no longer works. We don't know the exact details of it, but we'll learn something along the way. So that's about it. I guess my DPS, I can show you this real quick. EQ, just standing around, standing still, is 195. And then if I click some buttons, click down a totem real quick, it says 221. So my other character, my Druid, is like over 600. It's like triple this DPS. But this was enough to get us where we needed to be. This 221 number here. So that about does it. Build's insane. We left the arena because it got boring. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.